Maybe I should release a box of matches just to do an experiment. Release some matches for sale on my website and take one of my stupid thumbnail YouTube faces where I'm like, just something, and put the picture of my dumb face on the matches and see how those would sell. They wouldn't, because no one gives a crapola about matches. Okay, Megan, we need to have a little chat about what's going on here. What's going on here? You don't need to sell us matches. It's bad enough you're giving us candles that are $64. If you want to find Meghan in the house, Archie and little Lily, just find her at the mantle in your living room, staring at the candle, lighting the candle and going, because that's apparently what she loves to do. Okay, I'm on as ever official. The matches situation. This is where we are, ladies and gentlemen. The candles weren't enough of a monumental event in our lives. We needed matches to go with the said candles, okay? Going to Amazon, purchasing 3 boxes of long matches for $9.99, which you can do, as you can see. I've displayed on the screen for you for your viewing pleasure. Apparently Meghan thinks that we have her candles, but we can't light them. And we need her to help us in the form of matches. Now, I've seen some videos and read some articles about how they're thinking that she's just sourcing these from like these wholesale websites like Alibaba and all that. And she's just buying everything in bulk, choosing a color, and then just slapping on her little logo on these. She probably is doing that. I mean, let's just call it what it is. This isn't a multi-million-dollar venture that we're dealing with here. But matches, you guys. I don't get why she thinks when she's in the mansion, plotting and planning like Mr. Burns, why she thinks that this is a good idea. I mean, the whole company itself wasn't a good idea thus far. Jams, I'm sorry, I keep calling them jams. They're not jams, they're spreads. Spreads and shortbread and flour sprinkles, and now candles and matches. And this is what we're supposed to get excited about, okay? Maybe I should release a box of matches just to do an experiment. Release some matches for sale on my website and take one of my stupid thumbnail YouTube faces where I'm like, just something, and put the picture of my dumb face on the matches and see how those would sell. They wouldn't, because no one gives a crapola about matches. There is nothing so special and distinguishable about Meghan's matches that would be such the thing that would make me just run to the website, credit card in hand, must buy purchase. Okay, I can go to Amazon. I could go to Lowe's. I could go to my local 7-Eleven, okay, and get some matches if I needed them. Most people have got the, those sticks where you and then it comes up, or it's like a little lighter, but it's like the long lighter, the plastic lighter. Most people have those in their house already. Okay, Meghan, we need to have a little chat about what's going on here. What's going on here? You don't need to sell us matches. It's bad enough you're giving us candles that are $64, okay? And I talked about this before. She's got paraffin wax in those candles, okay? For $64, it should be a 100% clean burning wax like beeswax. You need to be disclosing to us the percentages of all these so-called essential oils and stuff you're using in your candles at that price point. Okay. Now, if you don't want weirdos like me turning on a camera talking about the fact that your candles have paraffin in them, then don't price the dang candle at $64. Make the candle like a Bath and Body Works candle, right? Like most of those candles, like those 3-wick candles that you can get at Bath and Body Works, are what? About $19, $20 or something like that in the US. Sometimes, you know, they got their little sales going on or whatever it is. I don't normally buy those candles just because there is paraffin in them and they're not exactly clean burning. They release VOC compounds into the air, volatile organic compounds. And what it does is it pollutes indoor air. So if you are burning candles, you have to be careful. You have to have a lot of airflow. You have to have circulation. You got to open windows. You got to be careful around pets, babies, all of it. Point is, okay, and I do have a point. And the point is that I don't buy that crap because I don't want to breathe that crap, especially being a cancer survivor, okay? I went through my diagnosis, treatment, all of that back in 2017 into the early part of 2018. So since then, I'm a lot more mindful of stuff like that, little stuff like that, like because I was talking a lot to people at my cancer center when I would be in the chair getting my treatments, talking to my doctor, talking to an integrative nutritionist that they would say stuff to me like, let's talk about stuff that you do and let's talk about healthier ways to do it. And for example, when you're undergoing chemotherapy, a lot of times you're really sensitive to smells. You can get headaches really easy. And they were like, do you burn candles? If you do burn candles, maybe you should look into beeswax candles. They burn cleanly. They actually clean indoor air as they burn, like all this stuff. Like I'm learning all this stuff as I'm undergoing my treatment. So now I know stuff like this. Maybe she thinks that most people don't know stuff like this and they're not going to care, that they're just going to be so excited that the Meg has released a candle and they all want it, that just because it's got her little logo on it, that they're just so excited. But people like me know better. And if you didn't know better, you now know better because I'm putting on a camera telling you, okay? When you know better, you do better. So I do have a point. You see what I mean? She gets me so riled up that I'll just spin my yarn and I'll forget my point. So if you're going to charge $64 for a candle, I want pristine ingredients. And also for $64, why don't you throw in some of your matches free of charge? That would be a nice little thing to do. That would be a nice little gesture for putting us all through the ringer the way you have since 2016 when you first landed on the scene and made all of our lives just like, what is happening here? What are we witnessing? You know, it's just... And these pictures on the website, like the picture of her, she really likes standing next to a fireplace looking at stuff on the fireplace. She did it all through the Christmas season where she's lighting her candles and she's like, she always loves this. And, you know, she's always standing at the mantle looking at her candle. That's something she really loves to do. If you want to find Meghan in the house, Archie and little Lily, just find her at the mantle in your living room, staring at the candle, lighting the candle and going, because that's apparently what she loves to do. And this is the content we're getting. Okay, this is what she's serving up hot and fresh. I hate to tell her also, but candles, I don't really think of candles as a transitioning into summer item. Around this time last year, I believe she was really, really heavily starting to push her wine, you know, like her light rosé and this kind of stuff. You know, fair enough. People like to maybe sit outside, enjoy a nice glass on their patio or in their backyard, or they'll go to like a summer barbecue or someone's house for a meal and, oh, I'll bring them, you know, a nice light rosé. It's summer or whatever. But it's just like, she's got to come up with some better things here. And I did a whole video where I gave her free biz advice. And I don't profess to know everything. I'm not an entrepreneur, okay? I don't have millions of dollars. I'm just a 52-year-old mom with a camera, but I know what I like. And I'm hot and fresh from the trenches here, Meghan, so I can talk to you about this stuff. Summer is coming, okay? You need to get going with summer themed items that would actually get people excited to want to actually maybe hit buy now, okay? I don't know. Let's see if I could come up with anything off the top of my head that this woman could sell to us for summer. Okay. I personally don't think she should have gone the spread, shortbread, flour sprinkles, consumable food route. I think that was the absolute worst thing she could have done, because we talked about this before when she did the whole revamping of her website, and she's doing all of the videos on her socials and on the website of her, you know, draped and lounged over the furniture in her living room. And she's going like this. And she's like, you know, with that dress and putting the little coat over, walking away. And she's like, to me, are you advertising clothes? Because it doesn't seem like you're talking about spread and sprinkles here, but she's already made that bed. So now she's got to line this stinky flower sprinkle bed that she's made. So if you're going to be doing consumables, if you're going to be doing stuff like that, I don't necessarily want candles, and I don't necessarily want chocolates that are going to melt in the summertime, okay? Why don't you give us stuff that could be used in and around the home or the patio going into warm weather? She's really big. Remember how she's really big on all this plating stuff she does, like these charcuterie, I love saying that, charcuterie boards and stuff. That's what she kind of does. Everything is super easy, like these one pot meals, or she's always arranging things on platters, vegetables, cheeses, things like that. So why don't you come up with a line of dishware that you can use on the patio when you're hosting, or inside, that's kind of fresh and lively, maybe not too expensive, have several different patterns. How about some glassware? How about some fun glassware for us, Megan? We all know you love a good cocktail, Megan, okay? Why don't you come out with some really cool martini glasses that are etched with your logo, or just something, anything. Give us something. But don't give us matches. Because if you give us matches, you're really ticking so many people off that I'm scared that they might do something with those matches inadvertently because they're just so ticked off. Like this is what she's giving us. And then before you know it, like everything's up in flames. And yeah, I don't know. I just look at this and I'm just like, I don't know. And then this thing she's wearing on her neck, it reminds me of this big furry black spider that I had as a Halloween decoration in my house for a lot of years, and I would hang him from the front lighting fixture chandelier type thing, like right by our front door when you would walk in. And he was huge. He was like ginormous, right? And is this a tie she's wearing? Because it looks like one of the furry legs from my Halloween spider. It's just, that's the first thing I thought of. And it's funny because I named that Halloween spider Larry, because when I first brought him out, like my daughter was like, what is that? She was like 4 or 5, like, and I was like, oh, that's Larry. Like he's our fun Halloween friend. And she was like, oh yeah, okay, that's Larry or whatever. So it's like, I looked at that and I was like, why is she wearing Larry, the Halloween spider, around her neck? I just need a sip. Hold on a sec. Yeah. Here's another idea. Why don't you come out with a line of coffee mugs or something? Mugs to go with your teas. Right? That's what I'm saying. The ideas are just flowing. They're just flowing out of me. Free of charge, Megan. Free of charge. I know you won't listen, but fair enough. But unfortunately, there is no way on God's green that if she did produce a mug, you know, with the As Ever logo or whatever, sold it to accompany her tea collection that is apparently like $100, if not more, she's not going to have as cool of a mug as my $20 Haunted Mansion mug that I got from Walt Disney World. Am I right? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But just some ideas for you, Megan. Just some ideas. Let me know if you need any more. My people will get in touch with your people. And yeah, moving on.